proud of Ina. I'm not proud of her for not believing in God anymore. I'm proud of her for going where the evidence took her, regardless of what she wanted. And that's the whole point. Sometimes an inconvenient truth is harder to take than a comfortable lie. And religion is a comfortable lie. It promises you something that you can only redeem after you're dead, with an agenda for you to give your life to this God, this certain religion, until after you're dead or until after Armageddon, whatever your particular belief is. Which is one thing that led me down the road of, okay, I'm going to research all of these religions, and then I'm going to research the other side. What are scientists saying? What are atheists saying? And why? And you just, if you are intellectually honest with yourself at all, you'll go down the path that the evidence takes you. It took me about 10 years. It took Ina about 10 months. And it's helpful that Ina has YouTube and the internet so widely available, whereas I didn't. I actually had to read books, and this is really hard for somebody who has dyslexia, as I do, severe dyslexia. So, yeah, I'm really proud of Ina because she was Team God all the way, and then she understood these scientific arguments, and she read the Bible more with an open mind, and realized two people didn't pop into existence 6,000 years ago, and donkeys and snakes don't talk.
I think what really hit me was the 80-year-old Sarah having a baby. And I always had a problem with that, because I thought, I was 40 when I had my last child. I lost a child at 38. And I had a rough time at 40 having a baby. I mean, it almost killed the child, and it almost killed me. If we weren't 5 minutes from the hospital, I don't know if I'd be here today. So there was always like reflections on things like that. I realized too, like when they put, I'm going to change it a little bit and go into like the Bible, but like for instance, a woman who had her period, and for 7 days she had to get out of the camp. I was, because she was unclean, but I always thought about it, and I thought, gosh, good for them. Those women got a break for 7 days and had to let the dudes hang on to the babies that they had, probably like 4 or 5 kids. And that would give a woman a break. But that's not that. Look, I can leave my house for 4 hours and everybody's falling apart. How is that going to work in an encampment? So, I mean, my brain would think about these things. You tired? You tired?
That's okay.
So, yeah, I would always reflect on these things that were in the scriptures. And
I think they probably sent the kids with the...
No.
Because what if she was breastfeeding?
No. I would say, nope, it's your deal. You take care of them. I'm not doing it for 7 days.
Okay.
What a break that would be. And then I would be with other women, and we'd get a chance to chat and enjoy a couple of, I don't know, manna breads, and who knows? I don't know. So, those kind of things I reflected on as a woman. I realized, I don't see any man giving a woman 7 days to be by herself. It just doesn't work, especially with children. And they got that wrong somewhere. So
that's funny.
No man is they can't do it. They can't do it.
Sorry, I'm just seeing what time it is because we've got Ellie.
Yeah, what time is it?
9:30.
Okay, yeah, we have doctor's appointments. We've had doctor's appointments for a long time, for a while. So we're just enjoying the fact that we actually have insurance now. It's not $1,600 a month. It's more reasonable. So yeah, it's affordable. So if you can't afford health insurance, you're screwed in America, pretty much. You're really screwed.
True.
Especially if you have, what do you call it? I always forget.
Pre-existing conditions.
There we go. Pre-existing conditions. Yeah, so he's getting better, slowly but surely. He's eating, and he's doing things naturally. So it just takes a while. And he's mentally unwinding and then rewinding. So these reflecting times, just, do your morning. Have your morning period. Make sure that you cry. I'm sorry. If you're a man, you gotta cry. My dad would cry. I remember that. You gotta cry. Even if you're a man. Sorry. I think of my dad and how many times he would sit and cry inside his car when he was disfellowshipped. Oh. And so you gotta cry. Doesn't matter what gender you are. You have to let it out. Otherwise, it just builds up and gets worse. So I do that very often. I'm like the crier of the family. Yeah. That's my thing.
Life in general is tough. And then when you have an evil organization to try and deal with it, it adds to it. And this is a very evil organization. Its entire goal is to use your entire life from the cradle to the grave, to use you. You are a resource. You are a battery. You are their power. And its goal is to use you from the time you're born to the time you die. Your money, your service, your volunteer, until you're dead. Until you're dead.
And I think it's, reflecting on life. I think that's religion. I mean, you have to understand there's no definition. There's no defining factor there, because even religion will do that. It doesn't matter what religion you're in. They want things. They want money. They want your time. They want, there are religions that will provide things for you, like food and clothing, and maybe your cheaper clothing,
and they do that for tax purposes, because you have to be a charity in order to be non-taxable status.
And they do have good organization skills, because not people who leave organized religion have a harder time finding organizations that will help people like that, and in small communities, because sometimes these people are in smaller communities, and so they don't have the help that they need when they leave whatever religion they're in. And you hear that often. So I think as a country, and as countries progress and people leave their religious upbringing, I hope in a global way that they'll be able to see the importance of just being a human being and seeing each other for who they are and respecting it and helping each other.
And that's the bottom line. I think all you ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, all you ex-Mormons, all of us, that's the bottom line. And when Eno was talking about me discouraging thinking in tribal terms, it's because every living thing on this planet is connected, especially human beings. We're all brothers and sisters, and we have to look and see the things that have torn us apart. Most of those things are religion, and this is all tribal thinking. So we have to turn around. We have to start thinking about how we can be of help to each other, to humanity. And hopefully this type of thinking, it's going to be long after Ina and I are dead, hopefully this type of thinking can grab hold and we can give it to our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren to start looking out for one another all around the world. Globalism is a brand new thing, relatively. We have the internet, so we know what's going on in Afghanistan right now. We know what's going on in China, Yemen. You pick. We know what's going on. We know their politics. We know their thinking. And so this globalism thing isn't going away, and we have to guide it in the right direction and start weaning away from religion and tribalism and start acting like we love each other. Because the biggest thing that's going to destroy this planet is us destroying each other, because we think that our God is better than your God. And this has been the problem. So the bottom line is, the only way we're going to fix anything and everything is to start looking out for one another. Education is a big part of that. Religious education, secular education, only religious education in terms of understanding the why, and where it came from. So this is the only way that we're going to turn society around, mankind around, is by not thinking in terms of finding my tribe, but how we're going to look out for one another, take care of one another. And in taking care of one another, we will be taking care of ourselves, because this is why, in evolutionary terms, why being kind to your neighbor is beneficial, because it ultimately helps you as well. And we have to start thinking, as a human race, our neighbor is somebody who's on the other side of the planet. And we have to be kind to those people.
Mm-hmm. I think too, this venue that we have, YouTube, is an awesome venue because we can also shine some light on what's happening in our backyards.
Mm-hmm.
That is unfair. And it's a wonderful opportunity. Like I always say, and I've said a few times in other videos, if you can do a better job, do it. We need people that are like, what is it? Brian Tyler? What's his name?
Brian Tyler Cohen?
Yeah, Brian Tyler Cohen. Blah, blah. Brian Tyler Cohen. He's so good.
Not an ex-Jehovah's Witness.
Not an ex-Jehovah's
He's
Witness.
a commentary on political matters.
Yeah, I like him.
Very good.
Yeah, and I like his approach.
The wonderful thing about YouTube is that so many of us can come out and have our own
opinions.
But if you don't like the way that Ina and I describe things,
You don't have to listen.
You don't have to listen. Go to somebody else, which is great. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I also like the fact that we can shine the light on something that, normally people wouldn't know across the other side of the country or on the other side of the world.
Right.
So, yeah, there's problems here right now. And in this very small, when you look at it, yeah, you got the world that has the problems. And we all know that as Jehovah's Witnesses, we were very, very educated about how the world was a mess. Yeah, well, hello. Our little congregations, our little, portion of the world was a mess. I knew so many bad things in there. So again, warning, if you're in the organization, you want to stay one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and you want to confess something, please don't go to the elders. Just don't go to the elders. Don't go to the elders. Your mess will eventually go throughout the congregation. Okay? I saw it so many times. I look at people all the time, and I know the mess that their families have gone through. I know details. So please don't go to the elders to confess. Go to a therapist. Go to someone safe. You could go to your neighbor and get a better treatment than if you were to go to an elder. Don't tell people your problems, especially your bedroom problems. Please don't. Please don't do that.
Everybody else you would go to for your problems is a human being. The elders are human beings. And if they've been an elder long enough, I apologize in advance for anybody that I'm going to offend, but if they've been an elder for a long time, they're just not very bright. And I'll tell you why. It's because they have the Shepherding the Flock of God book. There's been so many elders who have been ministerial servants and then, for years, and then became elders after reading the Shepherding the Flock of God book and being involved in a few judicial committees maybe. They've realized, wow, this is not right. This is not just. This is not fair. And even in believing in God, they realize this isn't right, and have come out a short time after being elders because of the level of information that they are now privy to. And if you read this Shepherding the Flock of God book, and I really encourage everybody out there to get a PDF version of the Shepherding the Flock of God book, because it's widely available now. You should look it up. Mostly because in the Australian Royal Commission, it was it had to be discovery, and so the Watchtower Society actually had to let it out. But when you see the misogyny and the injustice and the one-sidedness of the information in this book, all framed to look like it's spiritual or loving, but just read the words, you can be an elder, and if you had committed child sexual abuse, if you had raped somebody 10 years ago, you can still get away with it. You can still get away with it and maintain your eldership. This is in the Shepherding the Flock of God book. Read it. So what I'm saying is, if you have a problem, don't go to the elders, because these are just human beings. And especially elders who have been elders for many, many years. There's a level of corruption there, whether it's conscious or subconscious. It's there. It's there. Many, many elders who have been elders for many, many years love the position. They love the respect they're given from the flock.
They're charismatic
Very
men.
charismatic men. So yeah, don't go to the elders. Go to somebody you trust. Go to a therapist.
Go to a neighbor.
People that don't have an agenda. And I'll give you one example. I'll try to find this and we'll put a link. But there was an elder that was interviewed probably 6, 7, 8 years ago. Former elder, sorry. But he had had back surgery. This was an elder who was, a good elder in the congregation. He had had back surgery and was given pain medication by the doctors when he left, and he developed an addiction to this pain medication. And so to do the right thing, he told his elder body that he was stepping down as an elder so that he could deal with this pain medication addiction and get rid of this pain medication addiction. He did the right thing. He was disfellowshipped for drug abuse. Loving organization, they really care about their people. This is the organization. These are the people. This is the Shepherding the Flock of God book. This is the organization that you're involved with. Selfish, evil, unkind, unloving, framed to look the opposite.
And it's been my experience that when these men come out and they've been elders for long periods of time, they're still programmed in a certain way and they think a certain way. I really encourage, and it's been out there before, what is it? Terror, Love, and Brainwashing by Alexandra Stein. She's really good. It's already out there. She's been interviewed by a certain gentleman named Lloyd Evans.
Oh, yes.
Yes, very good. I liked the interview. I didn't even get to listen to all of it. I never get to really sit and listen to anything long periods of time. I just got the book and I started it right away, and it's perfect. It actually explains a lot of the characteristics of people that have that mentality who were longtime elders. The charisma that's necessary to bring people into a certain way of thinking. And wow, it was very, very
eye-opening.
Yeah, it shed a lot of light on how I just kept going into these little groups that were that were scary. I couldn't understand it. Why was my brain still attracted to this? I had to get away from it all in order for it to start to get, for me to start to get better. So everyone is different. I get the importance of having some support. I have my husband, so I get it. I also had neighbors that were very helpful in identifying things that I couldn't see. So they were very helpful. So my encouragement is be very careful. Be very careful who you tell in the congregation, because you will get judged for what you think. And now you can't even really trust the person that's sitting next to you or who you're talking to on a Zoom meeting. How frightening is that? That all of that just breeds more and more fear. So how's your body ever going to get nice and healthy? How's your brain going to get healthy? The body keeps score. I tell you, that book is so wonderful. So it explains a lot of the things that we hear or see in a congregation of individuals that are going through physical things.
We're going to wrap this up. Thanks, everybody, for taking the time to watch us.
And follow your bliss.
And be good humans.